Our next guest is a National Book Foundation 5 Under 35 award winner and author of a book that the Tulsa Library is encouraging all Tulsans to read this summer. Mateo Askaripour wrote the novel This Great Hemisphere, and he will be speaking at our library in July to headline this year's One Book One Tulsa program. Good morning, Mateo.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for joining us. I have to start by saying, love the book. I just blew right through it on vacation. I read your other bestseller, Black Buck, as well. What inspired you to write This Great Hemisphere?
Oh, what a big question. So this great hemisphere was inspired by an experience I had on the New York City subway, where I'd felt invisible a bit. And when I went home that night, I was wondering, why I felt that way, what the other person in the interaction had seen, whether it was an absence in place of my presence. And then the question started to steamroll into, what if there were a race of invisible people? How would they become invisible? What does it mean to be seen? And eventually the idea for This Great Hemisphere was born.
So this book, and I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but it is set some 500 years in the future. It follows a young woman named Sweet Mint, who's part of a large population of people that's literally invisible. Then there's the ruling class, the dominant population. Is there a certain theme that you feel like comes to the forefront? Because I see racism, I see environmental issues, I see like power dynamics. There's so many, I felt like, different rich themes in this book. Do you feel like one rises to the top?
The fun stuff of life, Dave. The simple, easy stuff. There's a lot in there, but also at its core is a story of what would we do for those whom we love? What would we do for our family? How far would we go? And what does it mean to reclaim the narratives that others have written for us? This book, again, while tackling weighty themes, as you just mentioned, is also a book that has a lot of adventure, a lot of excitement, a lot of unlearning. And I'm hoping by the end, people feel empowered to question the world that we exist in, as well as to take hold, again, of the stories that others have written for us and say, you know what? No, I'm going to chart my own path in my own way.
I wanted to ask you, too, what does it mean to you that the Tulsa Library chose this book for basically the city-wide book club for the whole city to read?
Man, I mean, the way you just said it sounds so epic, and I'm feeling that way, to be completely honest. It's such an honor to be selected as this book for the entire city of Tulsa by the library, to know that people are going to be reading it or are reading it right now, that I'm going to be able to get down on the ground there in Tulsa and interact with all the wonderful people there to soak up the history. It means a lot to me. I began writing many years ago. I was living in my parents' house in my childhood bedroom, just sweating, crying, trying to get something out. And being able to know that I'm going to go to Tulsa to chat with people about my work is just a dream come true.
And I want to tell people about that really specifically. So you're going to be here Friday, July 18th. This is going to be from 6 to 7 p.m., Central Library downtown. And before that, if you want to talk it out with other Tulsans, there's a series of community conversations. They're called book clubs. Mateo's not going to be at all of these, but there are several of them, including tomorrow, Suburban Acres Library, 4606 North Garrison, another on Tuesday at Fulton Street, where you can speak with fellow readers of This Great Hemisphere. Mateo, I have to ask you, so have you been to Tulsa before?
Not yet. I can't wait.
And have you been to Oklahoma?
Not yet.
Oh.
This is gonna be a trip of many firsts, Dave.
We're so ready for you. One more question, Mateo. Just overall, regardless of where people are coming from, what do you hope? Is there a hope that you want people to get out of this book? Is it just this is your baby and you're just releasing it to the world? Like, how do you view your work when it's just in the hands of other people?
So funny, because I used to use that baby analogy a lot. And then my cousin had twins, and I spent some time with them, and I was like, all right, this book ain't a baby. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm hopeful that when people read this novel, that they question, what does it mean to feel invisible and what does it mean to feel seen? Unfortunately, when I travel around the world and I ask people to raise their hands if they've ever felt invisible, the majority of rooms raise their hand. So I think that this novel is something relatable, but again, hopefully something inspiring and that will empower people to see themselves anew.
That's Mateo Askaripour, and this book is called This Great Hemisphere, and the library has several copies, including audiobook, if you're interested. Mateo, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.